When it comes to intermittent fasting, there's a lot of mistakes that happen when people are first doing intermittent fasting, or even if you've done it for a long time, people make mistakes and not doing it correctly. So in this video, I'm going to talk about my 5 type mistakes that people make when you're doing intermittent fasting right after this intro, so stay tuned. Hey, what's up, fasters? It's Dr. LeGrand here. As always, if you haven't subscribed, just hit that subscribe button. And let's just go right into the video. So I'm going to talk about 5 different mistakes that people make when it comes to intermittent fasting. So whether you're an experienced faster or a beginner, people still make these mistakes, myself included. In fact, I'm kind of making this video for myself that I can just remind myself what I need to be doing when I am doing intermittent fasting. Mistake number 1 is that people tend to do intermittent fasting for only using it for losing weight, instead of having the goal that there's so many other health benefits when it comes to intermittent fasting, not just for losing weight. I get it, myself included. We want to do fasting to lose weight, and so we get hung up on the aspect that fasting can help us lose weight, and that's where we hear people talking about it, like, hey, I lost weight when I did intermittent fasting, you should try it. And so we connect those two of thinking intermittent fasting is only for losing weight. But there are so many other benefits when it comes to our cardiovascular system, digestive, inflammation. I can go on and on about the benefits of fasting. I've already created a bunch of videos on this, and I'll leave a link right above here that you can check out that playlist of the fasting benefits. Mistake number 2, and I fall in this category, and a lot of my patients fall in this category, is that you think you can actually eat whatever you want when you are not fasting and you're not doing the intermittent fasting. So for example, if you're doing like the OMAD diet, that type of intermittent fasting where you're doing 1 meal a day, and really you can't just eat whatever you want during that time span, because you can eat quite a bit during that time span. Some people can't, but I know I can, and I know a lot of other people can. And you got to make sure that you're consuming foods that are more beneficial for trying to increase the autophagy levels, increase the levels of ketosis. So trying to stick with more healthier fats, as well as vegetables, not going straight to carbs, not going to a lot of processed meats or processed foods, because then that really defeats the purpose of doing intermittent fasting in the first place. Even it makes it even difficult for losing weight. If that's all you're trying to use it for, which it shouldn't be, like I talked about with mistake number 1, is that you should want to enhance the anti-aging process when it comes to intermittent fasting. Mistake number 3, which even I fall in this category, as well as the patients I work with, and a lot of people do, is sticking with the same intermittent fasting program. Now, just like exercise, if you do the same exercise routine, you're only working out certain types of muscles. Same when I work with my patients. I don't keep them on the same kind of supplements all year long. It isn't summer all year long. You have to actually rotate, trick the body so that the body can benefit from manipulating it, changing it, just to tweak it to kind of keep it on its toes. So what I mean by that, instead of just doing the OMAD diet every single day, which, it's great at first, but eventually get into a rut. I've had to switch it up just recently where, I was doing 1 meal a day, and really I just didn't feel the same kind of benefits that I did quite a few years ago. So, switching it up is really good. Right now I'm kind of doing, doing a little bit of the 16-8, then I do 1 meal a day, and then sometimes I do 36-hour water fast, sometimes I do 48-hour water fast. I'd really just try to mix it up so my body doesn't really get adapted to the idea that this is its new metabolic rate. Because that's the other issue that you could run into when you're sticking with the same type of intermittent fasting routine. Then your metabolic rate just starts getting stagnant and stays at a certain level where you want to start tricking it. So it kind of, keeping the body thinking and changing. You don't want to get lazy. So just switch it up, and that's what you need to do. Mistake number 4 is consuming the wrong stuff while you're doing intermittent fasting. I get a lot of questions on this. It's like, ooh, can I take this? Can I take this? The thing is, if you're doing 16-8, really just take water. Just take strict water. Don't worry about trying to figure out if you can have lemon water or not. just do water if you're only doing 16-8. It's not that long to fast, but when you're doing something like the OMAD diet, where you only have one meal a day, really trying to keep things out that shut off autophagy or also kick you out of ketosis. So really that's going to incorporate that anything that has a little bit of carbs or even just a little bit of protein. So even branched chain amino acids, you don't want to take, during that time, because you could still put yourself a little bit in the autophagy level when you're doing one meal a day. So making sure that you just try to keep it strict with just water intake. If you need electrolytes, then go ahead and do the electrolytes, but nothing else. I mean, you can do just straight up black coffee or, green tea. I'll talk about eventually what teas that are great for fasting and increasing autophagy levels. That's a video I'll do here soon, so stick around for that and stay tuned for that. But when it comes to just things that you consume, just stick with just water and electrolytes. Really shouldn't need anything else unless, of course, you're on medications. Then, of course, you need to be consulting with your doctor about that anyways. Mistake number 5, and this probably applies more to when you're doing the one meal a day, is not breaking the fast properly. This can be a common mistake, even for myself, for a lot of my patients that I work with. When they come back and they talk about, I've been doing, the one meal a day, but I don't seem to be losing the weight, or I don't seem to feel the kind of same benefits. And then I come to find out they just had, Big Mac, or, had a bunch of pizza, whatever it might be then that they take. That's not the right way to break a fast. You really should start by consuming either some vegetables or some light, fats, the healthy fats, to be able to consume that, and just take a little bit, just a tiny bit, wait about a half hour to an hour. This kind of helps wake up the stomach, get the digestive juices rolling. Then you can kind of dive in with that one meal a day food, where you can consume a little bit more foods, proteins, healthy fats, and if you can, by any means, really kind of keeping the carbs really down at a bare minimum. So those are my 5 big mistakes that people make, myself included. A lot of people make these mistakes, and it's just a reminder for you guys to just keep that in mind. The biggest thing is try to take away from this is to understand that there's so many benefits when it comes to fasting. And by having that mindset, it can keep us motivated to continue doing fasting versus trying to just look at it as a way to lose weight, because that's a long game with losing weight. You can lose it pretty rapidly, but it's hard to kind of adjust the diet because you'll hit these yo-yo effects. I'm sure you guys have experienced it when you try to just use intermittent fasting as just a weight loss, and then you just go back to your old eating habits, then you gain the weight back. You're going back and forth. But if you understand that there's so many other benefits when it comes to fasting, then the motivation to actually change the ways that you eat when you're not fasting, you'll see the long-term benefits from that. You have to make those adjustments a little bit, take it by baby steps, little bit by adjusting those things that we need to change in our diet that we know we need to change, but just making small steps towards it versus just trying to use fasting as a replacement to give us an excuse to eat whatever we want, when we want, versus heading right where we need to go when we're changing our health and changing our diet for the better. So I'm curious what you guys think. What are your common mistakes you make when you're doing intermittent fasting? Go ahead and leave that in the comment section below. I know the community will appreciate it. I'll appreciate it if you just comment about your common mistakes that you struggle with when it comes to intermittent fasting. And then as always, go ahead and give us a like, share, go ahead and subscribe. I'll leave it up here. And you can also check out our intermittent fasting playlist over here, as well as what I talked about before, the fasting benefits playlist right over here. Until next time, this is Dr. LeGrand signing out. Thanks. Bye.